Hello, hello, hello everyone. It's good to see you guys here. Turn that down a little bit so it's not overpowering my voice. How are you all doing today? It's good to see you in chat, Mary, and you as well, Saber Girl. Went ahead and went the usual VTuber route and made myself some slides to show off some bits of lore, but it's not all gonna be slides. It's just gonna be a chunk of slides at the beginning just to kind of get the info chunks out of the way, and then I've got an audio drama lined up that I unfortunately was not able to record ahead of time like I had planned. So we're just gonna do it live. I figure if I've been able to DM Dungeons & Dragons improv games, I ought to be able to at least do something scripted live, although unfortunately I won't have the, live reading. I won't have the sound effects that I wanted to edited into it, so I'll do my best to recreate them how I have them in the script myself. Figure we'll give it a little bit of time, see if anyone else shows up before we get into the content proper. How has your day been so far? I had a pretty nice day. I woke up a little bit later than I initially planned, but I did have enough time to get some work done on it, hop on my bike, and grab myself some snacks and drinks for the stream so that I don't have to worry about straining my voice too much or getting hungry mid-stream. Of course, not that great. Oh, well, I hope it gets better. I usually try to look at somewhat lesser days with a silver lining however I can. I tend to live kind of day by day and whatnot, so but my candy of choice that I got for my snack was initially going to be Reese's Pieces or some sort of peanut butter cup thing, but I ended up getting super sour Gushers because I had never seen those before. Like, I'd seen normal Gushers before, and those things usually come stuck together in a massive glob, but these super sour ones actually don't stick together, which is nice. And then, oh yeah, and then my drink I got myself was a big ol' thing of milk. Honestly, yeah, Reese's Pieces are probably one of my favorite Reese's things, but the kind of caveat of anything peanut butter with me is that I've got to have some milk to go with it. Alright. I think that's been long enough. We may as well hop into the content. Let me go ahead and pop over here. Here we go. Welcome one and welcome all to the official Nightside Jynx lore debut. And I put my logo all kind of front and center for you. Ooh, hold on. There we go. My cushions in my seat are getting all old and worn out. There we go. Alright. Drum roll. Thank you, Mary Sue. Alright. Talking points. This is just kind of a bit of an overview of what exactly we'll be kind of going over in this stream. And this stream won't probably be as long as the usual ones, though at the end of this stream I'll probably end this one, and then I'll if you give me like maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes to get the settings for it set back up. I want to do a gaming stream if this doesn't go very long. But we've got some talking points. One, just average facts and traits about me. We've got some likes and dislikes. We've got our favorites, anime, games, YouTubers, streamers, etc. We've got hobbies. We've got future content plans, and we've got full coverage of all official Nightside City lore up until now with an AMA at the end. Now, about me. I am the Nightside Jynx. A lot of people don't know me off the top of their head off of anything other than my first name. It's not listed in here per se, but the entire name, first and last, is Jynx Delthair. Delthair. But about me... Oh, sorry. Gotta take care of someone over there real quick. We've got my age and birthday. My age is... I'm old enough to do what I want. Other than that, my birthday is April 19th. On top of that, we've got my height and pronouns. So I'm 6'1", which is 185.5 centimeters. Very lanky. I only weigh about 145 pounds, so you can guess how... Or no, even 140. I lost 5 pounds last time I weighed. You can guess how lanky a 6'1", 140-pound person is. And then for my pronouns, they are she, her, they, them. Now, something that I wanted to, Tall People Club, one of the things that I wanted to bring up about this, actually, was that if people are misgendering my pronouns, don't feel like you need to correct them for me. It doesn't bother me so much personally, but when it comes to them, I kind of see them as like a sign of respect. Like, if someone is willing to, like, because I have them listed on like my YouTube channel and everything, so if people care enough and are regulars enough, they'll eventually find out about them or they'll ask or whatnot. I'd rather it be more of a they choose to ask than someone kind of starts shoving it down their throat. Creates a more friendly environment, in my opinion. Granted, that's just for my personal ones. I'm not speaking for anyone outside of myself. And then, if I move myself over a little bit here... Yeah. Over here, we've got my languages and Oshi mark. For those of you who don't know, an Oshi mark is just a combination of emojis that VTubers tend to use as sort of like a fan club mark, I guess. It's a way to make yourself kind of stand out a little bit, and your fans will usually put it in like their bio or whatnot if they feel like representing you. But for my languages, it's English only, unfortunately, though I would love to learn Japanese. It's been a language that I've wanted to learn through most of my life. So if I ever got enough free time or opportunity to do so, maybe I'll do that for a stream, learn Japanese on stream. And then for the Oshi mark, I went with the blood drop with the dark moon or new moon or however you want to call it, to represent, for one, the blood, and for two, the night side of the moon. Moving forward from there, we've got my likes and dislikes. So for my likes, if I move myself over again, for my likes, we've got a good number of things here. We've got the general peanut butter anything, werewolves, witches, and pirates. I've always been a fan of kind of like occult, and pirates I like because of the open ocean and whatnot, but they've always kind of been alongside what my main favorites have been. The other ones have been like ninjas for a little while. What else? I guess zombies to an extent, but zombies less so. Like, maybe like the idea of like a patient zero sort of zombie who has the ability to keep like all of their intelligence and humanity and stuff. Those are usually kind of out there. That's like the type of zombie that I like. Blood, lots of it, for fairly obvious reasons. The thrill of the hunt. One of my favorite things is getting into like a chase in a game, or like hunting something down and like moving at a high speed to track it down. Maybe that's just something kind of built into my blood now that the fury resides within me, but that's something that I've always felt a big draw to. Strategy and skill kind of feeds into the previous one a little bit, although even when I was young, I've never like learned specific strategies for it or anything like that per se, but I have been a fan of chess throughout my life. In fact, there's a game that I played recently that I really liked called FPS chess, where you play chess against someone, but then whenever you try and take their piece, those two pieces get into a shootout between each other, like first-person shooter style, and if you can manage to beat the piece that was attacking, or the stronger piece or whatever, your piece would stay alive. It's just interesting little things like that. I've also, I've heard of like, God, I always butcher the name, but it's like fourth dimensional time travel chess with multiversal something or other. It's kind of a ridiculous mess of a... I caught you that time, Jason. I saw that. I still fucking jumped. God damn it. But moving from there, we've got learning new things. One of my biggest things is picking up new skills and whatnot. I like to sort of just pick up little traits here and there. I'm much more of a jack of all trades rather than a master of one kind of person. And for me, that's led into a lot of different things. I believe the next one's hand-eye coordination even. Yeah, it's almost like I made this myself. Hand-eye coordination has always been a big one for me. Because there's a lot of new things that you can learn and like translate the hand-eye coordination into. Cats. I'm a big cat person. Just about equivalently with dogs. I will say that I'm not like a massive preference of cats over dogs. Maybe just a tiny bit because they're a bit easier to take care of and they're, at least from what I can tell, they seem more intelligent. We've also got wildlife in general. I'm a big fan of just nature and the wilds, like rainforests, all of the sort of environments that are far-reaching from society but still teeming with life, if you kind of get what I'm going for, I guess. We've also got almost all music. I like rock, punk, EDM, rap, reggae, classical, etc. And then for some of my dislikes, boo! We've got fake milks, skim, almond, 2% soy. They wish they were as good as whole milk. Speaking of which, I'm gonna take a sip of my whole milk that I took the time to travel through the cold weather to get today. Tasty. Then we've also got bullying/harassment. That shit's not allowed here. This place is meant to be a spot where everyone is safe to speak their mind, but do always think about whether or not what you're saying is directly targeting or affecting someone else. One of my biggest instincts outside of the hunt, where is it there? Outside of the hunt is a protector instinct. I'm that spooky scary that if you fuck with my family or fuck with the people I care about, you're gonna not have a great day. I'm gonna skip this song just because it's got lyrics and that's not what I'm wanting talking over me. So a protector instinct is something that I've got big. Don't fuck with my friends, don't fuck with my family, don't fuck with my people who I care about, and we'll be fine. You fuck with them, you're probably gonna get some sort of punishment. Just saying it now. I also should move myself to the other side, I realize. Shoo. We've also got politics. Keep it in your pants. No one wants to see it, no one wants to hear it. Just enjoy yourself, have a good time. Politics are the opposite of that. Keep it in your pants. We've also got Humacorp, the damn killjoys. Those assholes like to, whoops, there we go. Those assholes like to pretty much ruin any bit of fun that we have, and they're the big reason why I, oh hey Complex, nice to see ya. they're one of the big reasons that I left Terra in the first place to go up to Selene and join all of the different Sharptooths on Nightside City, even though I was just a Dulltooth. These guys, I mean, I can't fault them. Humanity has survived and even thrived under their rule, tyranny, dictatorship, whatever you want to call it. But it is restrictive, and it is not for free-thinking people, so I had to get myself the hell out of there. We've also got country music. Old stuff is good still, but new country, something about it is just, ugh. It's too repetitive. I've heard probably 17 different songs of a guy talking about losing his girl and then taking his truck out on the dirt roads and then seeing the beauty of the wild. And then his girl comes back. No, I'm done with that. Like, old country's good. Willie Nelson's cool. Like, a lot of old stuff is really good. New stuff, ugh. Not for me. What else do we got here? Daytime. Too bright, too full of light, too full of people. Nah. Not with eyes like these. These eyes, I can see almost perfectly at night, but not dealing with that in the nighttime, or in the daytime. We've also got deep ocean, thalassophobia. Fuck that shit. Like, the normal ocean is fine. I'll go in, like, I would live in a coral reef if I could. You think I wouldn't just be swimming around in there with all the freaking clownfish helping, I forget what Nemo's dad's name was, find his son? I would, in a heartbeat. But you take me somewhere where it goes down thousands of feet, and I can't even see any further down from, like, maybe, like, 20 feet down. I'm not interested. No thank you. Just not, no. Take me out of it and take me the fuck home, or I will start stabbing. And that's a fucking warning. Moving on. We've got the wolf spider and Black Widow. Marlin? It was Marlin. Thank you, Mary Sue. Holy shit. Wolf spider and Black Widow. I'm dealing with my arachnophobia bit by bit. There's a few orb spiders that live in my house that I'm trying to be friendly with, and I'm getting along with one of them pretty damn well because it's just a baby and I'm gonna try and watch it grow up. But some of these spiders, there is a difference between a wolf spider and a Black Widow, and then like the jumping spiders that are tiny little cutesy ones and can't even physically harm a human if they tried, and like orb weavers who have kind of an intricate design to them but are also non-harmful to humans. So in those situations, no go on those. We've also got cold weather. Cold weather's an asshole. It is freezing. I do not have the temperature like control in my body to deal with it, and if I had to choose a season or like an environment to live in 24/7, I would move somewhere where it never got below freezing. Yeah, when spiders surprise me, that's just how much it scares me more, Mary Sue. Like, as long as they don't scare me, I kind of have like a neutral peace treaty of like, don't invade my personal space and I'll leave you be unless you look dangerous or I don't know if you're dangerous or not. I love how I'm saying this and I'm literally scanning the corners of my ceiling for spiders. But cold weather is an asshole. It makes everything hurt, it makes everything harder to move around in, and my body cannot warm up my hands and feet at a consistent speed to be able to make it any sort of difference. I literally take like 3 steps outside and feel like I've basically become that caveman from the Scooby-Doo meme where he's like, man, am I glad that he's in there and we're out here and he's out here and we're in there and we're in here and he's in here. Moving forward, we've got favorites. I should move myself over to the frame that I gave myself. Is that about the right size? There we go. All right. So for my favorites, we've got my favorite anime. And these are in no particular order specifically, but I did put some of my favorites currently at the top. So we've got Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul has been one of my favorite anime of basically all time. Something about that show is, like, the later seasons get a little less so, but I just love the interaction and whatnot, and it was also a big inspiration into, like, how I designed my own lore in the interaction between the Sharptooths and the Dulltooths and Humacorp. We've also got Jujutsu Kaisen, which I just recently caught, I believe, as far as it's released up to, because I think it's up to, like, episode 23 of season 2? I'm not 100% sure on that one, but this anime's animation is on a different level. Something about this anime just feels so fluid, the fights feel so real, even though they're so over the top in so many scenes. I don't know, I love it. It's got my eye big time, so I'm keeping an eye on that one. We've also got Lilo and Stitch. We've got Mob Psycho 100. We've got One Punch Man. We've got Plastic Nissan. We've got Ghost Stories, only the dub though. We've got Cory in the House. And then moving on from there, we've got games. BioShock Infinite. This game's pretty damn awesome. I've played it a few times, and it was actually my intro into how I, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, the last two. BioShock Infinite's one of my favorite games of all time. It intrigued me into learning about the multiple universe theory, because it actually displays it weirdly accurately. Like, I genuinely feel like this game probably ended up explaining the multiple universe theory better than any class ever could have, because I got to experience it. And that is the sleeper, like, thing that games have going for them, is you get to experience things. You may not be interacting with them exactly how your body would, but you can. We've also got Dishonored, which, as you all know, I'm currently playing through the first one. And I plan on playing through the other ones as well once I've finished the first one, but Dishonored 1 has been one of those masterpiece games that I've lofted with BioShock Infinite. Hence why I decided to put it out on the channel and whatnot in the first place. Then we've got Fallout New Vegas, again. That's why I put that one out on the channel for us, because that one's amazing and just lets you build such unique and varied character design. We've got Elden Ring, which is why I purchased it for a second time, even though I had it on console so that I could record it, because this game is a masterpiece. It's probably my favorite, like, difficult Souls-like game that ever came out, just because of the variety. Again, it lets you build, and how it doesn't, like, you don't have to slam your face into a brick wall over and over again if you don't want to. You can go explore. Speaking of Elden Ring, actually, I did a tiny bit of some Elden Ring offline, mostly just some little random dungeon looting and soul farming to get some levels on my character and whatnot. I haven't gone any further from the like castle gate that I reached in the last stream, with the one exception that I went into the not the waypoint room. I went into one of the ruined cellars and I got hit with the stupid transporter trap that teleported me over into the, like, red Ohio area. And then I managed to make my way to a bonfire outside that place to just leave that area because I didn't want to be over there. And then I finally took out that Tibia Mariner thing just so I could get the first death route. and talk with that D guy to go over to the Beast Cleric guy, because I know I'm going to want some of those incantations for my build. And I figured I'd just get some of the boring, like, slamming my face into the wall over and over again, level up a few times, slam my face into the wall, done off stream a little bit, not a ton, but just some of the side stuff, because that game has so much content, it would take me years to stream it all. And then we've got Monster Hunter. This is a game series that I am a ridiculous fan of. That, again, this goes back to that, like, thrill of the hunt, being able to, like, take in a weapon, do some crazy different stuff, and it has a very different set of skills and whatnot again. Scary place. Yeah, Ohio's a very scary place. I hope you've survived if you've ever gone there. But in terms of just being able to track down the variety of monsters and the cool sort of way that they build the different abilities of the different monsters and whatnot, I've always liked these games. I haven't ever beaten Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter Rise, but I've played a little bit of both of them in the past on my Xbox. So I plan on getting one of those two if you guys would be interested in it. You'd love to see Monster Hunter Mary Sue? Damn, well that answered my question right there. If you guys had to pick, would you say Monster Hunter Rise or Monster Hunter World would you be more interested in between the two? Because for the time being, I only have enough to get one of them, and I'll have to hold off on getting the DLCs as well, because unfortunately, the sales that were going on just ended for it, but I do still have enough to get one of them. You finished Rise, but you haven't played World, Mary Sue? Okay. Maybe we'll do World then, because it is the older one, but it seems to have just as much of a fan base as Rise still does. So, we'll definitely look into that after this, if this doesn't go on too long. So moving forward from there, we've got Terraria. This is an old game, but this is another one of those masterpiece games like all of these ones, essentially. Terraria is probably, a lot of people just call it 2D Minecraft. Terraria is like base game 2D mod pack modded Minecraft. Like literally I think there's like 20 or 30 bosses in the base game. There's like actually probably, if I had to guess, close to thousands of different weapons in just the swords alone, or no, weapons in general. But then you got guns, you got bow and arrow, you got grenades, you got rocket launchers, you got sniper rifles, you got all kinds of stuff. You got magic. Terraria is insane. So moving from Terraria, we've got the Minecraft. Oh my fucking god. Thank you, Jason, for the scare. It's always you, Jason. I'm glad you enjoy them. But we've got Minecraft, both modded and vanilla. I'm a big fan of. I like vanilla just for its kind of simplicity sometimes, but I almost always end up leaning into modded just for different things. Like I'm a fan of the create mod, which adds in like actual windmills and water wheels and like a rotation like with cog wheels that you can set up for power. And I'm a fan of like the mods that make it more RPG like, where like you get like an origin, which is like your race, and you'll have different things going on, and then you pick a class and then you level up. There's all kinds of really cool mod packs that I found and I really enjoy for Minecraft, so I always come back to that one. Stardew Valley. For any of you who actually know that game, it's another one of the older ones, but it's a masterpiece. It's one of the sort of like calmer sort of farming sim games, but it's got some more high interesting combat set up in one of the areas for people who are interested in that. But it's more of a get to know the people around your farm, farm whatever you want, relax, enjoy the world, and find secrets and do extra little things along the way. You can end up building like relationships with the different towns members. You can even marry single ones and have them move in with you. You can have children even. The game's pretty in-depth and there's a lot of hidden bits and pieces to it. It's pretty cool. You haven't played Stardew in a really long time. It's one of those games, again, all of these ones I keep bouncing back to just because they're so good. We've also got the Monster Prom series. Now this one was my sleeper hit that I put in here. If any of you know what the Monster Prom series is, then big bonus to you guys, because it's kind of an indie series, but back in the day it had a bunch of YouTubers voice act in it. I think Cryotic voice acted in it, and a couple other people. But it's basically a game. It's a comedy, like, it's a comedy twist on the dating visual novel game. You get flashbacks to playing Monster Prom with a friend. Yeah, Monster Prom is amazing. It's essentially you are in a monster high school and you're trying to woo one of your other monster high school friends to go to Monster Prom with you. But of course, this being a monster high school, there's like a werewolf guy, there's a Medusa girl. The werewolf guy is like a sporty nerd who or a sporty, like, dumb goofball, not a nerd, who gets, like, basically treated like a dog 9 times out of 10. Then the Medusa girl's like a super, like, business savvy, like, I want to make as much money as I can kind of girl. There's a lot of really comedic bits in there. I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't, and I'll put out some series of it if you want with some of my friends doing it, because me and my friends, when we've played it in the past, we choose characters to voice act and we voice act them when we play it, so I'll definitely put some of these games out, whichever ones you guys are interested in. Moving forward from there, though, we've got music. First up, we've got Demon Dice. Then we've got Too Mellow. And then we're just going to put a nice little divider here. Highly Suspect. The Prodigy. Highly Suspect, if you don't know Highly Suspect, they're they do kind of like heavier kind of rock music, I guess is a good way to put it. The Prodigy is an older EDM band that my mom introduced me to when I was younger that I really like. We've got Vengeant. This guy is a more recent indie guy who makes, I don't really know how to describe his music, but every one of his songs has like a message essentially of, you know, be yourself, don't be afraid just because you are like hurt. You don't have to hide it. You can like talk with people and whatnot. But it's always in the most intense, like headbanging EDM. That actually scared me for a second, and I was like, what the fuck was that? I forgot that that one was in there. Like, he has one song, and he makes, like, loops off of things that he's heard in live, or, like, records IRL for a lot of it, too. So he has one called Unmask Your Emotions, and he made most of the song background loops off of the sound of masking tape being, like, pulled off of things, ripped, or, like, stuck and unstuck. And he actually makes really good music. Like, all of these people are people I listen to on a daily basis. We've also got Ethan Bortnick. If you don't know this guy, I actually found out recently that he's a child prodigy. But he releases kind of like darker piano music, but he is a master of a keyboard. Like, he could basically play probably the most intense and difficult classical piano piece. If he really tried for like maybe an hour or two, he would probably get it a perfect play. This guy is ridiculous. He does amazing music, and they always have this kind of like dark and spooky vibe to him, which I love. His most recent song is, I believe it was called Sleep Paralysis Demon, and I think the like first few lyrics are, pour me the liquor, fill up the vial, you're stuck in here for a little while. Hallucinations to help you drown. No one can hear you scream without a sound. Like, it's scary, spooky shit, and I love it. And then we've got Glass Animals. These ones are kind of an older band. Not like old, but older than some of these newer guys. They are... I don't even know how to say what their music is, really. It's just, like, smooth vibe music. It's kind of like, almost kind of like this midnight broadcast music that we're listening to now, but they have a lot of an EDM sort of push and feel to a lot of their songs. I wish I could put on bits and pieces of these songs for you, but unfortunately, these two up here on this other level from these other ones have given YouTubers permission to use their music. So these ones I am not able to. We've also got Stupendium. This guy is a YouTuber himself. He posts most of his songs on YouTube. So I guess I should say that these two up here have given me specific permission. I haven't asked most of these for permission. Don't get the wrong idea there. You remember glass animals being really popular during the animation meme times? Yeah, there were animations for, and like TikTok. I remember they were big on TikTok when it first came out, because their music is kind of like trippy and vibey. But Stupendium makes a lot of comedy music, usually based off of like parodies of video games and whatnot, which is awesome. In fact, there's one song of his that I always come back to called The Vending Machine of Love, and it's based off of an actual video game that exists called Only Cans with a C. And it's a dating game where you get the perfect soda can. And he made such a, like, ridiculous flowing rhyme off of such a stupid idea. Like, he found basically every rhyme that he could make with the, like, syllable can, and made it into a song. It's insanely good, and it's so funny. Like, he switches into, like, different voices partway through. I love this guy's music. Other than this guy, we've got the Nightside Jynx. Don't mean to toot my own horn a little bit, but I do listen to my own music pretty consistently. It's in my day-to-day playlists, and I love singing along with it whenever it comes on. That's probably personal bias, so that's why I put myself way at the bottom here, but moving forward from there, we've also got hobbies and skills. So my hobbies and skills are editing, story writing, as I do actually kind of enjoy editing videos, although I do kind of run into a typical writer's block sometimes, which is maybe kind of why the Dishonored episode hasn't come out yet. I may just release the Dishonored episode without a cinematic intro this time, just so that I can get it out there, because I cannot come up with a good script for the cinematic intro for this episode that I've got, but I've got the episode finished. So we'll see. I may just release that later today, honestly. We've also got D&D. Dungeons & Dragons is one of my favorite things pretty much of all time. It's such a experience. If you enjoy video games for the story and for the world building and for like learning how the world works, D&D is perfect for you. It is quite literally the embodiment of creating a game with your mind and playing it on the fly, and that lets you do so much. Like, I could be walking down a road and decide, oh, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can like rob a letter off of a sign in one of these stores that I'm walking by. So you can try to do that, and then you could walk down to another sign and be like, I'm gonna rearrange all the letters on this sign just to fuck with the person who's working there. And you can attempt to do that because it's realistic, and you don't have to rely on things being like coded in per se, because the dungeon master just builds the world around you, and if you want to go a certain direction, they think for a second, go, is that realistic? Yeah, that's realistic, and they let you take that path. We've also got video creation, as I sort of said, editing and video creation. I enjoy those. Also, the story writing and D&D kind of fit together as well. We've also got philosophy. For philosophy, that's just kind of, in my eyes, just thinking on bigger subjects of like, oh, you know, what is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of this? Or like, what is the reason that this may be showing up in society more often or whatnot? It's always annoying to see people talking about their 3+ year long campaigns. Oh, amazing. I misread that. I was like, why would it be annoying? That sounds awesome. Yeah, if you can get a friend group that can schedule like at least like 1, maybe 2 days a week that you guys can meet up together consistently and play things, then I mean you can just roll the campaigns, and if your character dies, that's not even the end of it, because people can try to resurrect your character with the resurrection magic. Or if you think that it's a good time to make a new character, you can just make a new character. You'll usually be around the same level as the players or what your character was before you died, and then you'll get to try some new stuff. Other than philosophy, we've got living life one day at a time. That is my kind of motto and whatnot. It's important to have ideas and plans for the future, but don't let them pile on top of you. Live life one day at a time. You can only break through a wall by chipping at it day by day. You can't just shoulder check a brick wall over and over and hope to break it. No, you're good, Mary Sue. I misread it because my phone's cracked on the bottom part of the screen where I saw chat, and it was covering the, I could see the A, and then it, like, cracked over the M, and I was like, annoying? We've got card tricks. So this kind of fits into the hand-eye coordination that I mentioned earlier. I'm a big proponent of card tricks. I learned sleight of hand and stuff. I wanted to be a magician, or like essentially a carnival worker, for a long time, but that's not something that unfortunately is a prominent position in the day and age that we live in. If it was, you bet your ass that I would enjoy working at a carnival and like traveling with it and doing tricks and stuff. That would be awesome. But I get to be a clown for all of y'all, so I gotta make do with what I've got. We've also got, oh hey, hand-eye coordination again. And memes. I love memes. I don't know why I put it in hobbies and skills. I realized I put it in hobbies and skills instead of likes and dislikes, but memes. We've also got my favorite streamers and tubers. Markiplier, up at the top just because he's one of the most watched ones that I watched recently. He's one of my favorites, and he's got that smooth, deep voice, like the manly man he is. And for those of you who caught it when it was still a thing, Unis Honest, me and my best friend actually caught Unis Honest live back when it came out. Ow. That hurt. Thank you for bonking me, Jason. But Unis Honest was an amazing channel between Markiplier and Ethan. Yes, Ethan. I can't think of his name other than Ethan for some reason. But it was just kind of a unique experiment where they did a channel for a year experiencing a bunch of different things, and that channel was amazing. There's still clips and bits and pieces of it floating around YouTube, but they took the channel down at the end of a year, hence the name Unis Honest, which is Latin for 1 year, and deleted all of the channel, or all of the channel's videos, so that they could essentially give it a fitting end. Memento Mori was their motto, which meant remember death. They wanted to build something that they liked and then let it die in a position that they were proud of it, rather than dragging it out so long that it was no longer as good as it used to be, which is something that I can respect. We've also got Fillion. If you know who Fillion is, if you're in the VTuber crowd. The hell was that? Hold on, I gotta wait till I see the pop-up. Oh, a new subscriber! Thank you, Porky4, for subscribing. It's nice to see new faces around the crowd. But Fillion. Fillion is one of my favorite memers. This little chicken nugget cat has so much of my attention 9 times out of 10 when I'm scrolling through VTuber clips on YouTube, because her sense of humor is so freaking good, and it is so similar to mine that I just bounce off of the like energy that she puts out in every video, and I love it. She's always memeing, and she actually had a thing that I was thinking about doing where there's some sort of wheel of like punishments and stuff that could be spun for like donations and whatnot. Like for example, over Christmas I got some ghost pepper hot sauce that I've been wanting to mess around with on a stream for a challenge and whatnot, and things like that. Moving forward from Fillion, we've got Buff Pop. This is another VTuber. This is more of a... I think she has a 3D model, but she's more of a 2D VTuber, whereas Fillion is 3D. Oh. I gotta get like some sort of toggle that turns on like a beret and puts a baguette in my hand when I hear that. But Buff Pup is a VTuber in the live 2D genre, same as me, she actually is a werewolf VTuber, and she has a similar humor to Fillion as well, kind of a goofy, giggly humor, which I always appreciate, and she's got a good taste in memes, so I kinda... Actually, I think if I remember correctly, when I did my meme stream, the videos that I was watching, I got the, like, series of videos from watching her, and then I just jumped back, like, a good number of videos so that I was seeing new stuff. Yeah, I think Buff Pup's been in a few of Rubber Ross's videos. Game Grumps and Rubber Ross are some of my favorites. I don't think they're listed in here because I haven't watched them specifically in a good while, but they've been integral in my growing up years. We've also got PewDiePie. 2012 PewDiePie is best PewDiePie. Don't at me, but I'm not against current PewDiePie. He's matured, he became a dad, he's got a lot of stuff going on in his life, and he wants to experience other things, so I can respect that. Although I appreciate that his old videos are still available, because I go back and watch some of them from time to time. I love his old Amnesia custom videos. Those were like the first way I found him, and he was actually my intro into the Cry of Fear game, which is funny because he has an Easter egg in the Cry of Fear game because of how much popularity he brought to it. We've also got Asmongold. This is a bigger guy. He's mostly a... Oh, I need to take a drink of something. My voice is getting cracky. Re-energized and ready to go. Okay. This guy, essentially, he started off as a World of Warcraft YouTuber, which I started watching a little bit back when I used to play World of Warcraft, because I tried to get into it a tiny bit, but I didn't have any people to play with. And I'm gonna be real with you, this World of Warcraft is not a game that you can play solo. It is so hard to play solo if you don't have even, like, people to talk to about it or whatnot. But he actually, I think, has stopped playing World of Warcraft since. Maybe I'm wrong. But he plays, like, other stuff a bunch. And he was actually the reason that I remembered Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise and decided that I wanted to get them for a series as well. He did a few videos on Monster Hunter World recently, and it reminded me of when I played a tiny bit of the beginning of it years and years... Oh, excuse me. Years and years back, and I was like, ooh, I should look into that because it's been so old it's probably cheap, and the Monster Hunter World is fairly cheap, but getting the DLC is like an extra $30, so I won't be getting that right away. Critical Role. For those of you who know Critical Role, it is a... what's it called? A live play Dungeons and Dragons series, essentially the live play Dungeons and Dragons series outside of maybe Dimension 20. But even then, Dimension 20 doesn't post their stuff for free on YouTube. You have to go to their, like, website and get a subscription to see all of their stuff. So Critical Role is probably the highest production live play D&D like stream that it is out there for people to watch for free. And they have so much content out that it would actually probably take anyone who's just starting now probably close to a year to even catch up with all of them, but that's not a detriment. I repeat, that is not a detriment. You can watch any of the any of the 3 campaigns now, and if you start at the start of any of the 3, you'll be able to start from there and watch it just fine, no issue. And the episodes themselves are a little long, but you can always just come back to them later and YouTube will remember about where you were at. I usually end up listening to them. Hi, Giannis. Nice to see new chatters. But I like to put them on either as like my wind down before bed or when I just want something in the background, because while there is visuals that you can watch of the different, what's it called? Like people sitting at the table and you can see like the battle maps when they come out and you'll see like character sheets and stuff. They release it as a podcast as well, so they do enough description in their words that you can understand what's going on just from listening and paying attention, really. Highly recommend them to anyone who wants basically the longest fantasy TV series you could ever want to watch, but it just doesn't have visual. That's it, pretty much. Like, if you were to watch all 3 of them, like, every episode's 4 hours. Let's do some math here, because I can tab over to it, actually. Critical Role episode count total. So there's 296 episodes of Critical Role out currently, and then you take that and you multiply that by 4 hours per episode. Calculator. 4 times 296, so that's 1,184 hours of content to watch, and then if you divide that by 24, you've got 49.3 days straight that you could watch from episode 1 all the way through to the end of, or to the current episode that they're up to of campaign 3, and it would take you 50 days of non-stop watch time. Again, not to the detriment of it. You can start at any point that you want, it's just got a lot to go through. Iron Mouse, another VTuber in the VTuber sphere. This is one of the ones that is live 2D mostly. You may know her from Connor or CA Dog. That guy, I think. She's his girlfriend. Her content is always really funny, and I like her content, really. It's one of my favorite VTubers to watch. We've also got Vidal and Neurosama. For those who don't know, Vidal, not Vidal, Vidal, is the creator of Neurosama, which is a straight-up machine learning AI VTuber. They are basically they're upgrading her constantly, and they're changing her code around a lot, and they're creating like new versions of her and everything. Highly recommend watching her content. It's amazing, or I guess his and her content, because she is technically her own learning AI and makes her own choices on what to say and whatnot. But definitely interesting, because I think just recently, Vidal gave her the permission and abilities to time out people in chat. Hello there, Monkey Burger. Hey, Monkey Burger. Nice to see a new chatter in the group. Always happy to see people sticking around saying hi. But yeah, he gave her permission to time out people in chat, and she went wild and started timing out her creator like 1,000 times over, her quote-unquote mom 1,000 times over, and so on and so forth. She went on a power trip. It's hilarious, and she's a machine learning AI. It's not scripted. They don't do anything like that. It is amazing what she can get up to and how much personality she really has for an AI. Ludwig. This is a big guy out in the sphere. I like him for his challenge videos and his speed runs and whatnot, but he also just puts out really engaging content. One of his videos that he put out a long while back about getting into streaming was actually one of the big things that I watched in order to actually sort of get myself into a game plan of getting into content creation and streaming and whatnot. And I don't know if I listed this because it looks like I may only have one more space here, but there's one that I wanted to put in but I didn't have time to because I didn't have as much time to work on this as I had hoped. But I wanted to put in Pirate Software somewhere in here as well. He's a game developer working on a game called Heartbound, who used to work at Blizzard, who also was a big kind of like help and pat on the back to get me into streaming. He has videos helping out like new streamers get into what you need and whatnot and what you need to do. And one of his big tenet videos that I watched was that you need to at least stream 3 days a week, and you need to at least stream for 4 hours each day that you do stream in the week, which is something that I took pretty close to heart. And outside of that, a lot of it from there on is just building a community with your chat, saying, hey guys, you know, how's it going? How has your day been going on and whatnot? Keeping an eye and keeping the community building and making sure that you're genuinely engaging with people and keeping yourself from going too deep into the like video sphere, if that's what you're used to. Where you just kind of zone into the game and never really like look over to check chat or talk with them or whatnot. At that point there's no interaction, so why would they watch it live? Oh, and we also got Daily Dose of Internet in here, just because I love his videos. They're always a nice little brightening touch on a day whenever it comes out, although I wish it was actually out daily, because I've watched I think I've watched every single video he's put out, and I'm always waiting for the next one, and sometimes I get juked out because YouTube likes to, like, you know the little red bar at the bottom of YouTube videos that marks when someone is, like when you've watched a video partway or have finished it previously? I swear to God, YouTube deletes those sometimes, on ones that you have definitely watched and you haven't deleted, like, your YouTube history, because I have watched a few of this guy's videos from a long time back multiple times because YouTube acted like it was one I hadn't seen, and it pissed me off. Hey everyone, good to see new viewers in the chat. What else do we got here? Up next is personal trivia. So just some random interesting bits and facts about me. You think they delete them too, Mary Sue? Yeah, see, I've noticed that a lot, and it's like they either just clear out like the older backlog, which is annoying because like even if it was a video that I saw like a year ago, as soon as I watch like a few clips, I'm gonna be like, this is the exact same video I watched a few years ago. Why is it giving it to me again? But here's some just interesting personal trivia and facts about myself. I'm double jointed in my fingers. I can bend my pinky finger so far back that it almost touches like the back of my pinky finger to the back of my hand. The other fingers aren't as double jointed, but it's part of why I got learned. It's part of why I got learned on what's it called? Sleight of hand and hand-eye coordination and whatnot, because they being able to like reach things and whatnot and move my hands in kind of slightly weirder ways than a lot of people, because I'm very flexible, added into a lot of that. I'm a huge Zelda fan, but I hate that I can't upload it. I literally have a Nintendo Switch OLED sitting maybe 3 feet away from me, but I got the Tears of the Kingdom special version, and I got Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild because Zelda was the first, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was the very first video game I ever played. And it was so in-depth and so well made that it was mind-blowing to me at the time. And I've been hooked on Zelda ever since. I've played Breath of the Wild a tiny bit. I've only gotten a little ways into it. I've played A Link to the Past. I played the first Zelda with the old man in the cave who's like, it's dangerous to go alone, take this, because I had a NES when I was really, really little. I played A Link Between Worlds, which is the newer, like, 3DS one, where you basically go back to the Link to the Past world, which is cool. Then there was Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. I played all of these, but I've only beaten like a few of them. And I hate that I can't upload videos of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to YouTube, because Nintendo will throw a hissy fit and demonetize the goddamn video. We've also got, I grew up with pit bulls all around me. In fact, I grew up with 4 of them, and loved every single one of them. We had a kind of scrawnier purebred female pit bull. We had a really, really big, like, muscly, like... The name Zeus was the most fitting name he could have been given. Yeah, Nintendo's an asshole about copyright. Zeus was the most fitting name that this pit bull could have been given, because he was, like, he looked like if you were to take a dog and make it into a Giga Chad pit bull. Like, basically, imagine how they depicted Zeus, the Greek god, and then that is what this pit bull looked like compared to normal pit bulls. He was massive. He was the most lovey-dovey dog of all goddamn time, though. He would get a little crazy if you shined, like, laser pointers and stuff, because he was very rowdy and had a lot of, like, muscle behind him and didn't kind of know his own strength, but he was adorable. Then we had, what was it? Zigzag was my dad's pit bull, and actually the reason why my dad met my mom in the first place. And Tank, which was the pit bull that was born around the age of, I want to say I was like maybe 7, maybe a little younger than that. And he actually grew up with me. I got to name him Tank myself. He was a scrawnier one. He wasn't another massive one like his dad. But I got to name him myself, and he kind of grew up alongside me, just like a brother pretty much, which was awesome. Yeah, pit bulls are amazing. A lot of people lose their minds about them. Other than that, though, we've got... I was on the front page of a newspaper once when I was young. It was a very, very long time ago, but I did get put on the front of a newspaper. Let's see... I think I was even younger than 7 at that, maybe 7, 6 or 7. I ended up getting put on the front of a newspaper for being a pool shark. Because my dad actually had a habit of playing pool, and he was really good at it and would play in tournaments and actually win trophies and whatnot. So I just kind of picked it up slightly and like was messing around at a pool table at this one place that I was at, and the newspaper came in to get pictures, and they were like, "Ooh, can we get a picture of this kid playing pool?" I literally have the newspaper up on my shelf in front of me. It's funny as hell. I can juggle like the clown I am. Oh, you were thinking swimming, that's funny. But yeah, I learned to juggle when I was younger as a way to kind of satiate my ADHD and give me something to do. It's again big on hand-eye coordination, and when it comes to it, I'm pretty decent, and I feel like if I'm given enough time, I could probably figure out how to juggle 3 of most anything. I can't do more than 3 though. That is a step that I never got to. I love gamer subs. Not sponsored at all, by the way. This is just a personal taste. Especially the Blowhole Blast flavor, which is a flavor made by another VTuber named Shy Lily. I don't watch her videos as much, even though her videos are damn good. But the flavors that they offer like non-caffeine versions as well, so if you don't want to get like hyped up on stuff and you just want flavor pretty much, that's usually what I get, because that way whenever I drink water I can have a little bit of flavor to it. I have a replica Harry Potter wand up on my shelf. Yeah, I've got the Harry Potter wand about an inch away from the notebook up there, or newspaper up there. It's not like one of the uber fancy ones or anything like that. I think it was like one of the stupid ones that you could buy from like Walmart for like $30 or something like that. It was like a random wand and it comes with a stand. But I'm a Harry Potter nerd. I don't agree with the writer of Harry Potter anymore because she's an asshole and likes to pick issues with people who are just trying to exist. But I love the world that she created. We've also got Eevee. Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. Eevee has always been my favorite as long as I've known about it, just because I've loved the ability that it can adapt into the different forms. That's always been so cool to me, and I've loved the styling of it and whatnot. And like pretty much any time that I've ever played a Pokemon game, I try to build an entire team out of different evolutions so that I can actually like try and set that up as high quality as I can. It's kind of tough to do because there's a lot of like legendaries and stuff with crazy outclassing like moves and whatnot, but I'll stand my ground as best I can, god damn it. And I learned how to use chopsticks from the special features in a Kung Fu Panda DVD. I for some reason could not use chopsticks despite any like assistance or teaching anyone had tried to give me. And then one year when Kung Fu Panda 1 comes out, I have it on DVD and I'm watching it in my room and I'm like, oh, special features. Learn to use chopsticks. And some goddamn way. Oh, hey Lilith, nice to see ya. Sorry, I missed your message for a minute there. And some goddamn way, Kung Fu Panda's special features with Jack Black teaching me how to use chopsticks was able to do it where everyone else had failed. Moving forward from the personal trivia, we've got my 2024 goals. Now, for my goals, I have a few in mind. 1, consistent streams and video uploads, usually about 1 a day, but I'm solo, so I can't always guarantee it. 2, 100 subs by the end of the year, which we are getting fairly close. I think we're sitting around, let me see actually, I think it was 77 last I checked. I'm not sure, I don't have the numbers right now, I don't have the tab for it. I know it's not exactly the loftiest of goal, but I like to set my goals low, and then when they're met, I set a new goal to reach for. That way I'm not trying to set my goals too high. I also need to finish my ongoing series, because I've got a good number of them ongoing that I haven't done anything with in a good while. Oh, I'm up to 81. Oh, shoot. Thank you for letting me know, Lilith. So I'm getting closer. But I have, like, what is it? Let's think. Dishonored, Inscription, just off the top of my head, Ghost Runner. I've got a lot of series that I've started and haven't finished because I started doing other series. So I need to finish some of my series and actually like bring them to completion. I need to get faster at editing so I can upload quicker and more consistently, as when it comes to the video works, The editing is what takes the longest. Usually takes me about 2 to 3 times as long as the actual video is, just to edit it. And then I'll also watch it through one time at the end just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and if I did, I'll have to like correct it and whatnot. Then we've got a longer term goal. 500 subs as a longer term goal for YouTube monetization, as in order to get any sort of monetization on YouTube now you have to reach 500 subs. And I think there's like one other goal, but if you reach 500 subs, I think the other one gets met essentially along the way. Support me on Ko-Fi if you would like to support me in any way, shape, or form. Any donation amount is welcomed. It helps keep me moving on, creating more content, and moving forward with what I can bring to y'all. We've also got, I want to release at least 4 songs in 2024. I think I released 4, maybe 5 in this last year. And I want to at least keep a consistent set of songs coming out, as I've always been a fan of music, and it's kinda, it feels like music's kind of in my soul in a way, so I like to put out content from that from time to time. I want to save up for official custom art commissions. I do have a friend who is also a VTuber, shout out to Jolt, who is able to do some commissions for me for official custom art, as my model isn't custom, but I customized it quite a bit. We'll go over that when we get to that point later on at the credits and whatnot, or near them. I essentially just found one on a marketplace that was of a decent quality and similar to what I wanted, and like cheap. Purchased it and then messaged the creators and asked permission to edit the colors and like draw on my own doodles and whatnot. But Jolt did let me know that he is open for art commissions, so that'll probably be my next Ko-Fi goal after I can get my phone replaced before it starts completely stopping working on me. Keep y'all having a good day and leaving better than y'all entered. That is my #1 goal in every video and every stream, is I want anyone who came to the stream to leave it having a better day than they entered. So much in the world is fraught with sadness and unfairness and unhappiness. I feel like it's important for us to be putting out places where people can relax and truly just let go and enjoy themselves, and that is what I aim to do with this channel. I also plan on doing a minimum of 150 streams in 2024, which is an average of 3 a week with some give. That's just aiming because I usually have 3 days in a week that I'm not having to work, so I'm able to do a proper long stream for y'all without being too tired. It's a high number, I know, but as long as I can keep my schedule coming out with at least 3 a week, I'll meet it, and I know I will. I also am always improving on my content. Feedback is always welcome from you all. I appreciate any bits of info, any like, hey, this is too loud, hey, maybe like, this took too long, hey, I'd love to see this game, hey, this game isn't that interesting. I like to hear feedback in general, so I'm happy to hear whatever I can do to improve. Moving forward from there, we've got some planned content for the future. In terms of planned content, I've got a few things. Elden Ring, as I've already got the 1 episode out, but I do plan on continuing that for a good while. Dishonored, 1, 2, and Death of the Outsider, although I will be doing them in order, so don't be expecting to see any Death of the Outsider until I finish Dishonored 1 and 2. We've also got Monster Hunter series. I had a feeling you guys would like that. Have I ever heard of the game Wobble Dogs? I don't think I have heard of Wobble Dogs. That sounds interesting. What is that one about, Lilith? I'll have to look into it at least. But yeah, the Monster Hunter series is one that I'm interested in because, as we kind of talked about it earlier, that big sort of monster hunting vibe is what I've always loved. D&D with chat is a big one. That's one that I wanted to do with you guys. I'll sort of set it up so that chat will kind of play as one character altogether, and I'll do like polls and whatnot to see on certain choices, what you guys want to do. I'll kind of initially just be like, hey, you know, this is the situation, what do you guys want to do? And if I see people in chat responding with a bunch of different stuff, then I can put up a poll and we can decide down into what we're gonna finally do, and I'll roll through it all with y'all. I've also got Minecraft, modded and non-modded. Non-modded is always nice just to check out what new additions get put in and whatnot. And modded just lets you pretty much play any style of game you want in Minecraft. You could play like a super peaceful game, you could play a like city building game. There's so much you can do with modded Minecraft. So it's a game where you raise dogs, they're goofy, it's a little tough for me to explain TBH. Okay, maybe I'll look into it here in a minute and see, actually here, I'll just tab out real quick and do a quick Google search. Wobble dogs. Oh, interesting. It's a 3D pet sim where you raise your own personal hive of mutating dogs, physically simulated all the way down to their guts. What the hell? Wobble Dogs is a casual and chill sandbox for players of all ages who want to care for their very own virtual pets in a surprising, unique, and stress-free environment. Interesting. I have not seen this before. It's got overwhelmingly positive reviews, so that's a good sign. I may have to look into that. I've got live lyric creation with chat. I wanted to, on some of those 4 songs that I ended up creating in the future, I wanted to have something in there where I could like live stream it and kind of come up with some of the lyrics on the fly with you guys. Karaoke. I love singing. Singing is one of my passions in life. It really is as cringy or ironic or cheesy, corny, whatever word you want to put to it as it sounds. It's one of those things where I really feel like I'm able to kind of be free when I'm singing, so... Another quick sip of some milk. And it's that real milk, not that fake shit. Shadows of the Erdtree, that kind of ties with Elden Ring when it releases. The release date is scheduled for February this year, so only a few months, which gives me time to play through Elden Ring a good chunk and get up to a good point with everything where that would be the most relevant. Although if it is one of those things where it's best played with a new character, I may end up making a new character when that comes through. Oh, God. Yeah. The Coffin of Andy and Lele. Y'all may have heard of this game recently. It's kind of become a little bit known in pop culture for some of its more controversial topics that it kind of touches on. As Asmongold puts it, it's that game with that scene and that ending. That being in all capitals, if that makes it any more obvious of how goofy or strange and or controversial it gets. We've also got Hades 2 when it releases. I've been keeping my eye on Hades 2 ever since the first one came out. Something about that game is just amazing, and I love the depiction of the Greek gods in it. Yes, that is personal bias, considering I worked Greek myth into my own lore, but you can suck it up, I guess. I don't know. And then whatever is new that y'all want to see. So, Alabama? Ah, yes, referring to the Coffin of Andy and Lele. Alabama, that's a good way to put it. But what I was going to say is whatever is new and that y'all want to see kind of feeds into Wobble Dogs there for you, Lilith, so I'll definitely look into it because it sounds interesting. Although I'm kind of short on money for the time being, so I may not be able to get it for a little while. Now for the Lore Zone. Now this is what you all came here for. This is where we bring up a few different points. So first, we're gonna have an audio drama. I unfortunately am gonna have to live read this to you all, as I didn't have time to record it beforehand like I had originally planned. But that should be fine. Then we're gonna have an overview of the lore, kind of just a comprehensive overview of important pieces. And finally, we're going to have an AMA, which will be a point for any of you to answer any, or ask and have answered any questions that you may have about the world and lore that I've sort of put together for myself. So we'll step back over to here, and we will get ready to start up this audio drama. Let me find the right song to start this with. Where is it? This one. All right. Now, this is a moment where if any of you need to grab something to drink or eat or whatnot, it's a good opportunity. There's nothing that you're going to have to visibly be paying attention to on screen here. It's all going to be audio-wise, because didn't have time to properly set this all up, but we'll go ahead and roll with it. Turn this volume down a tiny bit. That's off. That's not a tiny bit down. There we go. Just put it slyly and casually in the background. All right. Jynx. Jynx. 5 more minutes, Carrie. 5 more minutes, my ass, kid. You are already an hour late. The boss told you yesterday he wanted you up early for the damsel in distress ploy you wanted to run over in Eros territory. I'm not joking, kid. So help me, I'll pick this lock and carry you out to him myself. I'm here, Carrie. I'm up. Damn, kid, did you sleep in your gear? That was fast as hell. Well, I can't really take this damn thing off. But nah, I'm just getting ready at the moment. I'm used to getting ready at a moment's notice, as you know well. Well, come on. Boss is waiting for us. You got a light, Carrie? You know I always got a light. I'm glad you gave up that tobacco and vape crap for scabs after seeing how you get when you get hungry. God, last thing we need is you running low. Here. Yeah. It was always more of a sensory and ritual thing for me personally. Good night, Jynx. Cherry. Good night, boss. Hey, boss. Well, hold on, guys. Sorry about that, my grandma was calling out to me. Shit, where was I? Hey, boss. Well, we're a bit late from schedule, so I'll keep the brief, well, brief. We've had some citizen reports that in Eros territory, some people have gone missing. Mostly younger girls in their mid-20s. All were out for a night on the city wearing slimmer, revealing dresses. Though from what my eyes and ears on the street could gather, they were all last seen with a man wearing a top hat and dark, gray-black trench coat over his shoulders. Finally, all of the sightings of the missing persons and the man were localized within a few blocks of the open-air market, so that'll be our place of interest to start. That's all we know for now. Wait, am I being sent out on detective work, boss? Not quite. Sometimes the best way to catch a rat is to poison the cheese. Wait, so he's eating people? What? No, it's a metaphor. I plan on baiting him out with a dangerous target, one that he can't handle and won't be expecting. Okay, so who do I need to bring in to be the damsel, then? Gods, why didn't I see this coming? I don't think I've ever seen you so uncomfortable, kid. It's just fairly normal girl clothes. It can't be that bad. Says you're the one with the... You're not the one with the wig, contacts, and this damn... dress is so tight and revealing. If I tried to keep a pocket knife on me, it'd look like I'm packing downstairs. It's good on you, kid. Try and deal with it, because our guy could be here any second, and if he thinks something's off, he might get spooked. Yeah, whatever. Can I light a scab at least? Sure, just be sure to use the scab holder that Bonnie gave you with the outfit, and at least try to look lost or confused. Yeah, and that's the long stick straw thing, right? I got it. You've been here for 3 hours, Carrie. Surely lying down like that has given you a cramp by now. Plenty of dudes with trench coats, plenty with top hats. And I've even seen a few with both, but none have even paid me any mind. 9 o'clock, kid. Dude matches the description. Short black hair. Looks like a big cheese, and honestly, even from here, he gives me the creeps. Looks like he's beelining it to you. Excuse me, young miss, but you appear to be lost. Could I assist you? Oh, hi, sir. I'm just new to the city, and there's so many people, and it's so big. I'm just so overwhelmed. I don't know what I'd do. Keep it going, kid. He looks interested. First, my brother that I live with falls ill, and then he just dies, just like that. And my mom and dad come to visit, and just like that, take one step off the Archeron geyser and keel over from the same thing. It's so terrible, I just don't have anyone to rely on anymore. Nope, stop, bail. Reel it in, kid. Jesus Christ. Well, that is just terrible. Please, come with me. I own a store nearby, and I'd be happy to take you there and speak with you where we have some more privacy. Seems this is a more pressing matter. It's only a few blocks over. Please, come with me. Oh, thank you, kind sir. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't arrived. Carrie, keep eyes on me, and if you needed to reposition, let me know. I'll keep things from escalating till you're back if I can. So, you say that your family just up and died from some strange disease. That is quite uncommon around here. Yeah, they probably caught it before coming up. We lived in a really poor city, no doctors except Humacorp clinics, and those were backlogged for years unless you could pay to jump the line. That's why I left to start a life up here. I figured I could actually try and make some money to pay for the treatment, but when my brother fell ill, we figured that we could bring everyone up here and try and get treatment here, and then just... I see. Well, my condolences. I hope you'll all be together in the end. Just around the corner here is my shop. I'm losing sight, kid. Give me a bit to reposition before you start anything. Okay. A butcher shop? Okay. Take a seat anywhere you'd like. There are seats and tables on the back, though, if you'd prefer we could go back there. Oh, maybe in just a moment. I've never been to a man's meat shop before. I gotta peruse the options. Oh, well, of course. Oh, what's that one? It looks high quality. Those are T-bone steaks. Yes, and they're imported from the few real beef farms on the day side of Celine. And this one? Those are jacked up pork chops. We coat them in my special seasoning before selling them. And what's this one? That's a whole chicken. You don't know what that is? I'm having trouble getting in position. I was on my way up, but I ran into a group of Eros thugs, so I'm gonna have to wait for them to pass before I continue. Keep him talking, please. I'm trying. There's only so much I can talk about meat. About what? Oh, I just said I'm trying to flirt, but I'm just so beat. Oh, well, in that case, please come to the back room. It's a bit bloody, but so is the entire city we live in, so I hope it won't bother you too much. Oh, yeah, a bit of blood doesn't bother me. Hell, if you've got a bottle or two anywhere, I'd happily have a drink with you, sir. Oh, of course. I have a few different vintages. Please, come with me. I'll set the table and grab a bottle for both of us. Carrie, I'm heading into the back room with him. It'll take a bit longer. They still haven't moved, and they'll recognize me if I walk right past them. Fuck, that's why I was supposed to be on the last room. Shit, the back room's blocking my signal. Please, just take a seat wherever. Of course, sweetie, I'll just sit here. Help me! There you are. Now, did you want this slow or fast? Oh my, a forthright man. I like it, but I've got to powder my nose before we get intimate. Just as erogenous as the others. Shing. What the fuck? Shit, that's a big knife. Carrie, can you hear me? Didn't. Repeat. Fuck, he locked the door. Fuck, stop moving, you bitch. Fuck. Ugh. Jesus Christ, you're fucking strong, dude. Oh. Ignore that. I just 100% didn't play into that headbutt and send my headset flying off my head. Ugh. Come on, he was over here. I know it's around here somewhere. There. Ugh. Motherfucker. Special move. Equalizer. Unfortunately, I do not have the sound effect of the cartoon bell ding of me kicking him in the nuts to put in here yet. Carrie, can you hear me? The guy pulled a knife. I got a hit on some anguished souls, though. I think we found who we're looking for. I'm getting out to where you've got visibility again. Fuck. The thugs are still in the way. Hold out as long as you can, kid. What the fuck? Hey, you're that Nyx. Shit. Oh, that's my shoulder blade, dude. That's not even lethal. Oh. Damn. This knife's even bigger in my hands. Can I keep it? Oh, who the fuck are you? Rule number 1 of this city, my friend. Don't fuck with someone if you don't know who they are. And to answer your question, I am an embodiment of every bad action you have committed. I am the karmic justice that the anguished and tormented souls call upon for justice when they have been wronged. I am the inevitable comeuppance of those who commit atrocities. And you, sir, have many around you. And they see you now, and they give me their strength to enact their justice. Oh, and I'm keeping the knife. No, wait, please, I'll quit. I'll turn everything around, I'll leave. You'll never see me again. Okay, fine, get out of here. Wait, really? No, shithead. Time passes. Nothing like the blood of someone as fucked up as this guy to quench my thirst. Carrie, come in. You there? What the fuck? Someone just shoot him? Got him. You're a bit late, dude. Yeah, but the boss doesn't know that. I'm gonna tell him I got the kill and saved your ass. Hey, that's bullshit. I had a whole speech and summoned the vengeful spirits of his sins and shit, and you just shot him once when he was already dead. Yeah, well, seniority rules, kid. Let's get out of here before all that ruckus and blood draws Humacorp enforcers. Meet me in the alley south of the building you're in, and I'll bring the car around. Fine, I'm on the way. I'm gonna have to deal with my cheesy sound effects, I apologize. Car driving away sound. I'll just say that because I can't make that sound right now. So, I hear you got our target. Good. That's one less name on the list. And one more part of your debt paid, Jynx. Though you should know, boss, I was the one to kill him, as I'm sure the news and all of the reports from Humacorp will confirm. No, he fucking didn't. He wasn't able to do anything the whole fight. Don't fucking listen to him. And laughter as... Oh, sorry. Where is it? Laughter as... I'm fucking blank. Where is the song? I had it lined up right here. There it is. And the camera then pulls back away and out of the office on the first hunt that Jynx ever went on for the Nyx family. Took down a serial killer in Eros territory who had been taking people out and claimed his knife for herself. That, my friends, is the knife that she keeps on herself to this day, even. If I zoom myself in real quick here. That right there is the knife claimed from the serial killer who, he was kind of meant to be a silent nod at Jack the Ripper, I guess, in a way, meant to be something along those lines, kind of like an evildoer who decided to take on a bunch of people for essentially no reason, took his ass out and took his knife for myself. Sorry it wasn't as long or as in-depth as I had planned. I was hoping to have it a lot more polished than that. I was gonna actually record each of those lines separately and like script it all into an MP4 with the sound effects layered in and whatnot. But I made what I could work there for y'all. Thank you, Lilith. And I do plan on making more content like that in the future. Well, I appreciate that you were able to imagine it that way, Mary Sue. That's what I aim for, is being able to paint enough of a picture, but if I had known that I wasn't going to have the sound effects in there, I would have scripted it more like a book with like actual narration of like Jynx then does this and does this. But I rolled with what I had, and I'm glad that it was enjoyable for y'all. That, however, is not the end of the stream. That's just the beginning as we move into the official, proper lore overview. So let me move myself over to a better spot real quick. Shoot. So, in terms of the Nightside City lore and whatnot, let me go to my, I know I have it in here, official Nightside City lore sheet. So, the year is XX23, also known as Neo 23. In this era of time that has passed since the modern age, many different leaders and governments have arisen on Earth, and eventually the one that always brought the best results and has kind of gained the most power and strength over the world was a corporation known as Humacorp, whose motto is keeping humanity alive one step at a time. They essentially decided that it was up to them to take whatever precautions necessary to prevent any and all possible disasters from occurring across the world and keep humanity progressing and surviving through the new ages as the sun dimmed and became much less of a sustaining star, and they needed to send up different workers to construct the synth sun around the shell of Terra. Eventually, though, they did succeed in their efforts. Humanity is still flourishing, population ever increasing as it always seems to be. However, under a strict set of rules, very, very strict. And the book, if I were to try and list them out, is about 3 inches thick of rules, so I'm not even going to try and list them all out to you. And I'm not even going to try and act like that was the life for me. I was so sick and tired not being able to go out past a certain time, not being able to go enjoy myself, not being able to climb buildings, not being able to go hike, not being able to explore abandoned locations, or you'd be carted off immediately. It was basically as close to hell as I can imagine. I was alive. I had all the food I needed, and all the water I needed. I felt like an animal in a fucking cage. So, when the day came that I actually noticed an opportunity to slip the watchful eyes of the tailing agents that they keep on people, I managed to make my way to a shuttle and quickly ship off without using a what's the word for it? A fake bit of ID that I had snagged off of someone, as the machines in those shuttles don't actually check facial recognition, they just check the ID. And that was something I had learned through a few different mishaps that I'd ran into with some of those machines. And after slipping my tail and making it up into a shuttle, which was destined for outer airspace outside of the reach of HumaCorp, landing on the dark side of Selene, which is eternally facing away from Terra, hence why it's considered night side and the other is considered day side, as the synth sun never ends up reaching the other side. And upon landing in the port in the center of Nightside City, an all-encompassing city that covers the entirety of the dark side of the moon, Selene, which has since been terraformed into a livable environmental planet, is just a massive cityscape. The day side is not so much so, as a large portion of the sharp tooths that decided to take off up into the atmosphere and go into Selene when HumaCorp decided you have to follow our rules or go somewhere else, don't really enjoy bright lights. It's kind of the antithesis of our nocturnal predation evolution that kicked in. So they kind of just stuck to the dark side in terms of where they were going to set up all of their living and whatnot, though they didn't just leave the day side completely barren. There are some very small villages of some sharp tooths or dull tooths that have shipped up there and decided to go and reside in the day side since it's brighter and they can see easier in it. Though the majority of the day side is taken over by synth farms, which produce the various foods and substances and whatnot and allow us to actually make some sort of shipping income, shipping supplies back to HumaCorp, which can make a difference. Upon landing up at Selene from my maiden voyage, so to say, I kinda just blended in and existed amidst the sharp tooths, knowing kind of what the differences were and just avoiding the blood when I could, since, I mean, drinking a large quantity of blood for a human makes you sick, and inhaling any of their burnt, dried blood, like the scabs or the Heyya inhalers, is a quick way to need to take a long breath before you can actually, like, move again, because you're going to be hacking really heavily. But I knew about those limitations and just kind of avoided them and existed amidst the sharp tooths until the fateful day that I made my way to the Styx End bar. See, I stuck to Nyx family territory for the most part of the 5 families that exist up in Selene. Nyx family is one of the few that really have any sort of appreciation for dull tooths or any respect for them. A lot of the other ones are a lot more bloodthirsty and see them more cattle-like, something to be fed off of. So going around those territories was a bad idea, though I had always heard of the Styx End bar, which is within Nyx territory, though it's right on the edge of the most dangerous other family's territory, the Demios family, run by the Warlord. Thinking, oh, you know, I'm in Demios territory, or I'm in Nyx territory, not Demios territory, I'm safe, even though it's just over there. was a foolish mistake. As I made my way to the bar and began to have a bit of a smoke outside, a man stepped out beside me from the inside of the bar and asked if I could offer him a light for his. I passed him the light, and he seemed to almost, like, he reached for it but then hesitated, and his eyes seemed to shoot up towards the corner of the street, and I followed his gaze to hear the sound of tires screeching down the road at a high speed as a car comes rounding the corner, nearly picking up onto two wheels and slamming back down, with one man sticking his head out the back window holding a, what's the word for it? A nightside typewriter in his hands and unleashing a hail of bullets in my direction. Technically, at the direction of the man standing next to me, though a hail of bullets does not pick a single target. Luckily, the man was able to avoid getting injured too deeply himself. However, I got struck in the chest and was dealt a very rapidly bleeding mortal wound. I fell to the ground, unable to move, and luckily the man noticed, dragged me inside of the Sticks End bar, and called out to Carrie, the barkeep of the Sticks End bar, to bring the kit. The kit being a medical kit used for live blood transfusions between Sharptooths, as their inherent body's attunement to blood and being able to use it to sustain them applies also to keeping them alive should they be provided with enough of it and the blood flow that's draining them of it be staunched properly and dressed. However, doing a merger, which is what this is called, with a dull tooth and a sharp tooth is a immensely bad idea. Anytime that it had encountered or had happened, be it by accident or on purpose in the past, both party members, the person giving and the person receiving blood, drop dead to the floor. Dead before their eyes could even close. No one really knows why, except for this man who I was lucky enough to be beside when this encounter happened, and the barkeep of Sticks End Carrie, as this man that I had happened to be alongside was actually the godfather of the Nix family. Those men who had done the drive-by had been attempting to take him out, not me, and I had been caught in the crossfire. Luckily, he is one of the few people with any sort of idea of what would happen in this, and Carrie vocally speaks up himself, saying, "Listen, you can't do this. This act alone could kill her, and if it doesn't, then she'd be nothing but a blood spiller, and the hunger would fill her." But the boss decided that it was a risk that he had to take, as it was his fault that it had happened, and used what he could to give me a better chance of surviving the process. Luckily, I just so happened to survive. The process of which is now a bit more known, as I experienced it myself. A portal essentially in your very soul is opened to the underworld. Something about the mixture between the blessing of the Sharptooths and... oh, my apologies, I guess I never mentioned this. The difference between a Sharptooth and a Dulltooth. Sharptooth is essentially the vampires in this world. However, rather than being an occult, creature, in the vein of a typical vampire of, sleeping in coffins and stuff like that, and burns up in the sunlight, it's more of the nocturnal evolved predator variation, which, was brought upon by, the Greek gods deciding that they needed to have a resurgence in their influence in the world. Upon doing so, though, that portal was opened between the Dulltooth ingenuity and variable blood and the blessing of the gods in the Sharptooth blood, which ended up leading to a fury of Greek myth from the underworld stepping into the soul, as it is the most similar composition of soul now as it itself, and gives it a window to step out of the underworld, allowing them to essentially incarnate. Granted, oh god, I just realized my eyes turned white. What's the word for it? I'm blanking now. I'm losing my groove. Why can I not think of the word? The host of the soul and the fury is still there in personality, but there is now two souls as one combined, and bits and pieces may change or differ until the actual host can sort of come to terms with what part is them, what part is the fury, and at which point there is kind of a capability to interact and speak. I need to skip this song because it's got fucking lyrics. There we go. Okay. And luckily, due to the additional help of the Nyx family godfather, this damn thing in my chest, ting ting ting, that was implanted in the process, and the fact that my want to take out evildoers and people who have committed atrocities and whatnot has a similar strength and quality as that of the Fury. I was an equivalent and succeedable match. Thus, waking up, my hunger, which I had never had any issues with previously, being a Dulltooth, was prominently there, alongside a deeper hunger as part of the trade-off for becoming one with the Fury. Now, to help myself satiate this, I ended up bringing myself to somewhat consciousness and capabilities of my own will, and accepted a deal offered between Charon, or between, sorry, the deal is officiated by Charon, but offered between me and the boss of the Nyx family. This deal being, work for me, and I will share a large quantity of your hunger, though only for a duration of time, at which point it will slowly be given back to you, and you must be able to withstand it and control it yourself, or you will have to be executed. Knowing that any of the other families seeing a Jynx, a being of this report and level of hunger and bloodlust that I was capable of, I would probably be put down if I were to turn his family offer down and try to broach any other family. Knowing I had no other choice, I agreed. The boss took a bit of a hiatus so that he could deal with the hunger that he's now dealing with additional, and gave me a list of enemies to take out. After dealing with those, he revealed that the hunger had already fully transferred back to me, and each of those enemies that I had taken out had helped me satiate it and control it better. After that, he offered me a permanent place at the family, and knowing that I had people here who truly cared for my well-being, I accepted. And that's where it brings us to our current day on the overview of my lore. Is there any, let me go to the AMA bit. Is there any questions in specific that any of you have? Because there is a lot more to the lore, but if I start going down the rabbit hole on each individual thing, it's no longer a comprehensive overview of the lore. It's now just an hour of me talking down different rabbit holes. So I'd rather go ahead and ask if there's any questions that you guys would be interested in specific about the world, about the character, about the universe, any of that, and I'll happily answer them. We'll just vibe with the music a little bit while I give y'all some time to put in some stuff. Where did my mouse go? What the hell? There we go. Oh, that's too loud. Jesus Christ. There we go. That's a bit louder. Are there other types of people that exist other than Dulltooths and Sharptooths? So Dulltooth is just a... It's another word for human, essentially. The Dulltooths are anyone who like was not directly chosen as a like evolved variation of human. Yes, Lilith, I'll get to your question next. So there are other types of creatures and beings out and about, if that's what you mean, but in terms of a world lore, I do have this set to be lore-wise. Currently it's just like a human sort of cyberpunk world where the Sharptooths have kind of now become widely known. They're not like considered, oh, these occult vampires. They're like, oh no, it's just like a new like evolution of human, essentially. And then for your question, Lilith, the fury that is now one with my soul is essentially a deity from the underworld that punishes evildoers and people who commit atrocities by seeking out the this bit is my lore, but by seeking out specifically the tormented, anguished souls who have been brought to an untimely end by someone, as the Fury's primary targets are those who commit murder, or specifically murder through grudging, murder through a flame of like anger, or murder of someone who trusted you. Those are the three like highest, like worst things that like you can do that a Fury will find you for and will punish you for. They punish for other evil atrocities, but those are their like modus operandi. And in my lore, whenever someone takes an innocent person's soul, in a situation where that soul is so like, what's the word for it? So taken aback, aghast, or like essentially the shock of someone who you trusted murdering you or something along those lines. Whenever an innocent soul who is not itself in going into being a target of the Fury is killed, that innocent soul brands the soul of the person who killed them with their own soul and marks them for hunting and marks them for vengeance. Getting near the being who has done the slaying, or getting near the location of death, has a chance of you being able to hear the souls whispering for for the Fury to help them, as the Fury resides in both the living and the underworld at the same time. Upon finding their target and beginning to hunt them, the Fury is able to grant the souls that are branding that man or that person or whatnot, grant them sight of the person that they're branding, as they are kind of in an eternally, like, tortured limbo afterlife, and like kind of reliving their last moments. But when the Jynx knows that they're a target and activates it, all of the souls can now see the person who's killed them and can begin to call out and terrify and torment. They can't harm him specifically, but they now know why they are in so much pain and why they have been through what has been going on, and they know that you are the reason why. So they'll essentially, you won't be able to sleep anymore, even if you manage to escape me. You'd have terrifying nightmares of the different people that you like know in your life or whatever. You'll be having a dream talking with someone and their face will turn into one of your victims, and then they'll begin to strangle you in the dream and things like that. It won't physically harm the victim, but now those souls have a chance for their own bit of vengeance. And once they are making those calls and knowing about that vengeance, the Jynx can hunt them down from anywhere. Mary Sue. So different creatures and other things, like, let's say robots, for example, also exist in the world? Yes, so, HumaCorp does not allow any of their officials to stay up on Selene. However, they do still have HumaCorp enforcers up there, which are autonomous robots that, for lack of a better words, police robots, that try and maintain order, even though they are not good at it. They'll show up to crime scenes and they'll cordon them off and they'll, like, arrest people and whatnot. But the city is ran by the 5 families. Those HumaCorp enforcer robots can only do so much if they're faced with the might of a large enough group of people from a family. So there's some areas that they stick away from, but some areas that they feel confident that they can try and police in. And more often than not, they just end up getting trashed, graffitied, vandalized, and whatnot if they go into the wrong areas. In terms of creatures, there is creatures that roam the fog. So one of the other events that happens every so often in Nightside City, and technically across the entirety of Selene, though less prominent on Dayside, is the fog. Nightside City is home to many dangerous people, but it also carries its fair share of environmental hazards, one of the most dangerous of which is the Mist of Death. The Mist of Death is a heavy fog layer that envelops the entirety of Selene minus the Dayside for approximately 12 hours at random intervals. The Mist of Death itself is Atlas, one of the primordial Greek gods, having been around since even before chaos according to Greek myth. She is a killer with no remorse. The fog itself, it seems to be full of shifting shapes, strange sounds, and the occasional scream of a victim being caught within it. Should you be caught in it, you'll be left a corpse, twisted in agony and despair as your soul is severed from your body in a split moment, and the reanimated body joins the fog as a creature becoming one with it. Now, the fog itself is 2 pieces. There's the fog, and there's the Vrykolakas, which are the creatures that roam within it. The fog itself is that deity Atlas, and all it can do is roll out, stick around for a while, and then leave. And should any living thing be caught within it, its soul is severed from its body and ripped out piece by piece should need be. Okay, let's get this lyric song out of here. There we go. Then the Vrykolakas is what your body becomes after the fact. Very much Mandela catalog, analog horror, freakish mimicry of a person. But any person who gets their soul ripped out by the fog becomes one with the hive mind of all of the information of all of its past victims. And that information is shared with the Vrykolakas, which are its sort of physical hand in the world in a way. Terrifying warped creatures that aren't even technically alive and can like continue to maneuver past like losing limbs and whatnot. And they are able to try and seek out people hiding within safe houses all around Nightside City. And if they find one, they can attempt to break in to drag people into the fog, or break in to open it up so that the fog can roll into the building. Terrifying fucking things. And it is one of the few equalizers in the entire Nightside City lore that makes all of the families have to deal with each other or work together or die trying. It doesn't care what family you're from, it will kill you if you're caught in it. So when it comes to the fog, when that alert and broadcast goes out to let people know that the fog is rolling in and you need to get to a safe house, it's not uncommon to find people from warring families like huddled near each other in the corner of a safe house because they're terrified for their life. Other than that, that's the only creatures other than like people and whatnot that I've directly come up with so far. I mean, there is like obviously animals around and whatnot. I myself have a pet cat named Ember. It's a little, I don't have any art for it, but it's written down in my lore sheet. It's a cat named Ember. It's a one of those like really floofy cats that almost look like they have like an old person's like grumpy face, but the whole cat is black fur with it turning to like an orangish red at the ends. Is there any other questions that you guys have? Oh shit, hold on, oh wow, I like how I went through that whole first chunk and forgot that I literally scripted out that first chunk of the lore. Okay, I'll just, let's see. I'll read this out. So this is kind of like an in-character, almost like journal note of my entry into Nightside City as I described it previously. I'm just kind of scanning over it to see if there's anything that I didn't touch on in here. Yeah, okay. Nightside City is a city on the tidally locked dark side of Selene, the moon. And at a year where the sun is faded heavily and the planet Earth is heavily corporatized and considered a perfect utopia, no criminals because they're all hauled off to power the synth sun for the rest of their lives, no food shortages, if you can even call that green-gray slop food. I swear I saw it move once, and you'll never convince me otherwise. And everyone's happy, yeah, fucking right. It's a world full of rules for people to follow day in, day out, as they make Humacorp a few bucks before they discard them like used batteries at the end of their lives. But hey, Humacorp is humanity's way forward. They aren't killing, they aren't cruel, they're not like erasing people's personalities or any Black Mirror shit like that. Hell, when the V-evolution came about after Humacorp took control and the Sharptooth started to be born, they gave them free passage into the newly terraformed Selene, a place to start life on the nightly rock away from the synth sun and its blinding light. But they're just so boring. It's the same shit every day in, day out. Wake, clean, eat, work, eat, clean, sleep, repeat. And if you want to go outside that schedule, they start to worry about you and monitor you with undercover agents to ensure you aren't doing anything deemed hazardous or illegal. Which sucks ass, because a lot of my favorite stuff fits into one, if not both of those categories. So when my tail agent slipped up one day and gave up their cover, I didn't hesitate. I slunk away, running discreetly through the crowded streets. I had been lucky as the dinner pedestrian traffic had just ramped up, which made it fairly simple to swipe a wallet and pay for a shuttle ticket before the tails even knew I'd slipped them. Making my way into the launch site using some sewer travel to ensure I wasn't seen by their cameras, I managed to make it aboard the flight to Nightside City. And just as it began its liftoff, I saw HumaCorp vehicles pulling into the terminal. But they were too late. I was free into international airspace and was on my way to Selene, the name now given to the moon after HumaCorp's terraforming process made it habitable. The name taken from the Greek goddess of the moon, something done as a gift to the Sharptooths who seem to have a propensity for ancient Greek culture, or at bare minimum the naming scheme. As we approached, the first thing I noticed were the immense amount of neon lights. Neon, being one of the few brighter light sources known not to cause discomfort to the Sharptooths, is the primary lighting system of Nightside City. The city itself is mostly a zone with no laws per se, but it is ran by 5 main bloodlines of Sharptooths. As they lived for millennia, they rather quickly arranged a mafia, mob, crime, family-style hierarchy, and have been vying between each other for the past 1,000 years. I was just living my life among the Sharptooths when I went to the bar ran by the head of the Nyx family. Unbeknownst to me, the events of a Nightside story take place, which is that shooting and me becoming what I am. Wherein, after using the kit to perform the merger save my life, I was turned into a Jynx, and my name... now I had become a bestial creature and had nearly killed some of the Nyx family before the magical implement that they had implanted into my chest managed to take effect. A symbol of the goddess Nyx herself, patron goddess of the Sharptooths, and the secret reason behind the V-evolution. Apparently, the Sharptooths were her chosen, those who were personally picked to be the beginning of their new race in the world, and the Dulltooths were not. Thus, by having the Sharptooth blood transfused into me via the merger, I became a Sharptooth without being one of Nyx's chosen, which meant I was cursed. My hunger unbearable, my strength greater than most any when the hunger was at its peak, my senses sharper, my rage deeper, my bloodlust all-consuming. And finally, as I was losing myself, the sigil in my chest began to take control, and my breathing softened. The animalistic pant became a softer, almost ragged breath. The man who had saved me approached me, as the others stood silently watching him, most of them with a look of, "Oh boy, you're about to get your head ripped off." As he reached his hand out, I snapped towards him with my fingernails and teeth, but he didn't flinch. I gashed him from the end of his middle finger to his elbow and bit down on the side of his hand, the blood flowing into my mouth and down my throat like a crimson river after a dam broke. And as I fed, I felt him place on my chest his hand, immediately glowing and activating a second stage of the symbol and second stage of the metallic symbol seared into my flesh. I screamed and howled, but the man was like a brick wall, unyielding even against all of my animalistic strength, and eventually the pain stopped. And as he withdrew, I looked down to see no wound. Where he had just reached what felt like through my ribs, now sat a permanent affixture, a strange metal artifact perfectly fused with my flesh, as if it had grown from my chest itself, of a large glowing red pentacle over a dark moon with a crescent moon to either side that was glowing a bloody red. There also seemed to be what looked like 4 red drops of blood dripping from the lower point of each crescent, as well as from the lowermost points of the large glowing red pentacle over the dark moon. Though these are also part of the artifact, despite the fact they don't appear to be attached in any way other than fusing with the skin that they are next to in the same way as the rest. The man stood up, and I was still in shock from what happened to realize that I had properly regained my mind. "There, that should do it if I'm not mistaken." "Of course you would take a precious family heirloom and waste its capabilities on a dull-toothed Jynx. I saved their life." "So what? They all die at the same time anyways. What difference does it make?" "It matters to me." "Fine. You're the head of the house, and your word's final. But do remember that your late father would never have approved." "That's exactly why I'm doing it." As the old lady leaves the room, the man turns to me and offers me a place to stay and a job. I accept. Now, using the abilities afforded to me by being a Jynx, I hunt down debtors or anyone who fucks with my boss or the Nyx family. I was trying to find that earlier when I described all of that stuff before, but I couldn't find it because I am not organized. This is all in one notepad document with like some dividers in some places. But that is what I've got so far for the lore and whatnot. In fact, I think that is wrapping up the majority of what I can think of to bring up, unless you guys have any other direct questions. Get myself a gusher real quick. Ow. A game you're very much fixated about? Sure. What is it, Lilith? Omori. Actually, I have seen that. I haven't played it. Yeah, I haven't played Omori. I have seen a lot of stuff like people really like it, and I've seen it on Steam a few times, but I've never watched it and I've never played it. I could play it on stream if you guys wanted to at some point. Moving forward, though, feel free to continue asking questions. Just because I'm off that page doesn't mean that you guys have to stop asking questions. But I got some credits here that I need to take care of. You gotta get back to playing it. You've been dodging spoilers for so long. I've never even touched it, so I've got to get into it, I guess. But in terms of the credits here, we've got a few ones. Original model. You probably can't read that, but all that I know about it for English name is Creator Team Stock. So I'm guessing that's Creator Team Stock. They're a booth marketplace seller. They sold my original model, which I think I can actually show to you guys, because I technically have rights to it just as much as this one. So this is what my model originally looked like when I purchased it. Pretty much, you can see where a lot of the similarities lie, but the mouth doesn't move quite right. Like if I'm talking, hi, how are you going? Hee ha hoo hee ah wee ah. It's kind of weird. It doesn't really do the mouth movements right. And you got some blank kind of basic clothing in the Sonic 4s. But I went ahead and took this, got permission to edit it myself, and made this. Added in the Nyx family crest on my chest that fused with my skin through this damn skin suit. I can't take this fucking thing off, so I gotta wash underneath it. Got all of these little doodles that I added. I changed around the colors a bunch, made the eyes red, made the mouth work a lot better, made the head tilt a lot better, changed the hair, and then I even added in all of this filigree doodle on the shorts and the pentagram right there. Added some doodles on the sleeves just because it made sense. I like to customize my stuff. Got my emergency drink me pouch in case something happens and I run low on blood or lose a lot in a fight. And then I've got my happy little suppository, which is my favorite way to end or get some cooperation from an interrogation. Because I'll tell you, nothing gets someone's cooperation more than threatening to shove a frag grenade up their ass. I've got the Jack the Ripper knife there with the kind of like pointy bits for the finger grip. Just some doodles. I'm pretty happy with how the model turned out. I did also make it so that I can do this. Oh no, no one's ever expecting the happy little suppository. That's why it works so well. But yeah, I made the teeth and eyes glow in the dark lighting. So yeah, edits made by me. I'm not gonna act like this is... Oh, I still got my... Get that menu out of here. Edits made by me. I'm happy with how it turned out. Granted, I mean, I think anyone would prefer a custom one over one that like they had to get and work with, but I like that I've worked with it and made it into something that feels more me and less how it was. Then we've got art made by me. I know it ain't the best, but I did what I could. The only exception to the art being made by me is, if I go back, this border that I used in some of these. And if I go back some more... Oh, come on, where is it? I know you're in here. There we go. This thing, the likes and dislikes thing. These were from my stream overlay setup that I got, so those aren't something that I made, but everything else on this has been made by me. The backgrounds, the little swirly things here in the frames. But I do what I can. And then music. 2 Mellow Midnight Broadcasts. The 2 Mellow Midnight Broadcasts albums are what I use for, I call it my Nightside Ambience playlist. Oh, I should move myself. Yeah. I call them essentially my Midnight Ambience not Midnight Brain, my Nightside Ambience playlist, because they're just vibe, like, chill songs to put in the background of things. I think he's mentioned that the songs were meant to give off the vibe of wandering through a nighttime cityscape alone, but like not in a scary way, in like a comforting way. And I can really feel that with his music. It's so smooth and just like gives me that Nightside City vibe, I guess. Big thank you to 2 Mellow for that. Now, I believe that is the end of everything in terms of this specific lore debut. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about before I end this lore-wise? Because after this stream, I will be in probably about like maybe 15 minutes starting up another stream of some gameplay. I just wanted to keep this separate from that so I don't have like gameplay mixed in with lore debut. All right. Well, no one seems to be intrigued in asking any questions, so thank you all for coming out to this lore debut stream. It means a lot to me to have you guys here and interested in whatnot. Catch me in about probably about 10, maybe we'll call it 20 minutes, just because I want to go to the bathroom, make myself something to eat and whatnot. But then I will be live with a gameplay stream of, let's see, what should I do? We've got Elden Ring, we've got Baldur's Gate, we've got... I may have enough to get Monster Hunter World if you guys want to see Monster Hunter World. But yeah, something around those lines, and thank you all for coming out. I will catch you all next time. Have a good one.